Hey, good evening, everybody. It's George Mahe. Welcome to the third edition of Perfect Pairings. Thanks for joining us on a beautiful Thursday night. Third time we've done it. We started with Mike Johnson in his backyard, and then we went into Quitron's kitchen. Qui, everybody knows, is one of the most respected and well-known restaurant guys around the city. And Alex, I could say the same thing about you.
I'm the meat guy.
You are the meat guy.
I'm the cured meat guy. Mike's probably the other meat guy.
So anyway, Alex is with us. It's Alex Donley from Gioia's Deli. Everybody knows, if you don't know Gioia's Deli, you know the sandwiches that come from Gioia's Deli. And Alex has been working this gig for quite a while. Gioia's has been there for 102 years, if my math is correct.
Yep.
And we were talking about this, Alex, and I said, we can't be making sandwiches on Perfect Pairings. We gotta come up with something else. And you did. I mean, you came up with something really cool. But before we get into that, would you talk about exactly what your kind of star product is at Gioia's? Because a lot of people, they've heard of, hot salami, but if you look at your hot salami, quite honestly, it doesn't look like a lot of salamis. It looks like a Braunschweiger or something, right?
Yeah, it's called salami to taste, actually. Hot salami is what customers created over time, because we served everybody forever. So city workers would come in and say, "I want a hot salami." Well, what they were ordering was a salami to taste. That it's a cooked sausage, essentially salami coda. So it's cooked, stuffed in a casing. We make it in house. You boil it, and then the key is right after we boil it, when you order it, we put it on the slicer and slice it hot. So that's what makes it so good. But salami to taste means salami of the head. So.
And I mean, this is a product that I guess it's not unique to Gioia's, but you guys sure are known for it. I mean, Andrew Zimmern came to town, and you made it with him, as I recall, right?
Yeah, he came back in our little tiny not even 200 square foot room, and he just came back there and made it with us, and he loved it. He was freaking out that a little place in the middle of the country is making, and we're in that little room we were doing that day. We did, I think, 1,500 pounds, and he's just like, "You're doing all this in this little bitty room?" I'm like, "Yeah, we've always have. That's what we do."
1,500 pounds, and I mean, that's just amazing. And are you the guy that makes this every day or every other day? How does it work?
We have a really, really good crew, but yeah, I mean, there's probably only 3 of us in St. Louis that can make it. Much less, the hardest part is tying it, because we still hand tie everything, because we don't use those machines that make it perfect. So when you have to hand tie, it's just how it is, especially in that little bitty place. So we hand tie everything, and then we hang it in the cooler, and there we go. So.
How many people know the recipe?
Well, my mom does, but and then that's me, and then one other person that makes it now, Tiffany. She's the first female ever to make hot salami. My mom never made it, because Steve Gioia told my mom he said, "You need to find a man to make this hot salami. This is men's work." Isn't that interesting?
Not anymore.
My mom and my dad making it, and then after my dad passed away, our butcher Bill made it. And he's just this like big Polish guy named Butcher Bill. He's still alive, and he knows the recipe as well. So he taught me. Steve and Bill taught me.
So let's talk about what you're doing. This kind of leads into the first thing. When we were talking, I said, sandwiches isn't going to work, my friend. Let's do something else. And you said, "Hey, in my spare time, and my hobby is making cool charcuterie boards." And I said, I think you're onto something. And you have taken this charcuterie board idea and done something even, really more timely with it for tonight. So,
yeah.
So talk about that. And I know there might be some a little hot salami on that first board.
Oh yeah, this board right here, that's the hot salami board. But I got invited. I've always done charcuterie boards. That's kind of my thing. I'm the meat guy. If I'm going to a party, I'm going to bring a cured meat board. But I got invited to a COVID party right around the time we started talking about this, and they asked me, "Could you do socially distanced boards?" Because this party was eight couples.
Perfect. Yeah.
They're all sitting outside in our little area, 6 feet apart, and we wanted to drink wine and eat good cured meats. Well, you can't do that at a community board. And luckily, I have about 12 tiny little charcuterie board cutting boards, and I just made up different ones, and each one matched the personality of the couple that I knew. And you did a fresh board, a fun board, and I just had fun with it. And the hardest part was transporting it, but
Yeah.
it was easy. So.
But that's the beauty of this thing is you can fully customize it. Somebody that wants a vegetarian board or just a cheese board, you can do it any way you want. And I just thought as we're going into the holidays and people are going to be entertaining a little bit in their house, and what a great way to do it. Everybody has their own little charcuterie board. So the first one that you made up, of course, involves your hot salami. That's like I should have known that already.
Yeah, of course. This is my standard one. This is the one everybody wants me to bring. This is the hot salami board, okay? And I just literally did it how I would do it if I were going to somebody's house. It's really quick and really easy on this one here. So, can you see it?
Yes, I can now. Yeah, you need to hold it up a little bit. There you go.
So this one, and one of the cool things about all my charcuterie, everything that is in this was bought on Daggett. We got me, Gioia's, and then Volpe, which is right there, just one block down on Edwards and Daggett, and then one block on Marconi is DiGrigorio's. Everything, including the alcohol, was bought on Daggett. So
Daggett Avenue is like where you want to be, and you can do it all there. That's great.
If the world ended, we would be okay. The little Daggett. Yeah. So
all roads lead to Daggett, brother.
Yeah. And then we get our bread from Fazio's, which is one block over on Sublet, but it's not Daggett. So that doesn't count. But I can get everything I need to make a sandwich by walking still to this day. So it's just like it was, 100 years ago, which is cool.
That's great. So what's on this first board?
So everybody wants to eat hot salami hot. I like hot salami cold. I think it's a great meat to just basically all I did was I went in and I ordered a half a pound of sliced hot salami, which is exactly what your sandwich would be. And it's just I do it cold. I like to do it cold on a board because then it's not as messy. And then there's just a lot of fat in hot salami. So when you do it cold, it's not going to leak out or anything like that. It's going to be really nice. And I love olive spread. I love olive spread with hot salami. And this is just like a chopped olive spread I got from DiGrigorio's. And I call it a muffaletta, but it's more of just a spread because it's chopped so fine. And then what I really like about it is it's not too oily. Because when you're at a party and you're enjoying your charcuterie board, you're wearing your nicest clothes. You don't want to pick up a crostini with a bunch of olive spread on it and get it all over you. So I actually strain it too, so that you just get the flavor without all the mess.
See, there you go. You told me you were going to tell me some tricks of the trade. That's a good one. Strain it so you don't have oil down your shirt. That's a good one.
And then what I do is I do a rub chop on it, just a really good fine chop because it just spreads so nicely. And then I just did, these are Marconi Bakery's crostinis. That's all that is. And that's Marconi Bakery is just a little bit further down on Marconi from DiGrigorio's, but they sell it at DiGrigorio's. So he just walks up and delivers them. So that's just a crostini, and then this is pepper jack cheese. This is from the Deli. And if you are going to do pepper jack cheese, one of the other tricks is when you go to, I always recommend going to DiGrigorio's or Volpe to get your meats or your cheeses. But if you're at Schnucks or something, ask them to slice it thick. So slice it like at an inch. So I always say like that thick. And then they'll give you one slice that's just huge. And then you just cut it however you want. So
sure, you could put it in strips, in cubes, however you want. Yeah.
You do whatever you want. You shave it, but that way you're not limited to just doing little bitty slices. If you do a big thick, and then you're not paying that packaging fee that the really fancy cheeses, that you're going to get a much better price if you just get a big thick slice of a nice cheese, and then you just cut it however you want. And then this is great. So I don't even use the bread. I do a hot salami taco with it. I fold it, and then I put my cheese and my muffaletta, take a big bite. It's amazing. And then with this one, so I pair this board always with just it's a very St. Louis board, so I always got to pair it with like a crisp, easy drinking beer. So I got all these fancy wines, but this This board, I do a stag, and that's like gospel.
So, and Stag beer is, people don't know this. People have been drinking in St. Louis for years, but it's a local beer, or it started near St. Louis, I think in Belleville, right?
Yeah, I think it's
So
Belleville.
you're keeping it local, which I love. Stag beer is actually
Stag my whole life. I got a really cool story if you want to hear about Stag. So when I was in my whole family's from South City. I'm like 6th generation South City. And I used to go to my grandpa, who was a retired firefighter, and he lived in South Tower Grove. And I'd always help him in his yard. And in his garage, he had this old, the old garage fridge that never gets opened. It was only Stag beer. It was gold beer. It was like when you open it, it was just gold. And
sounds like a commercial.
It's like a commercial. And I was helping him move bricks because my grandmother loved to collect like old North City bricks. And I was helping him move it out of his truck. And he gave me a Stag beer. And I was like 12. Like way too young to be given a beer. It wasn't the giant beer that I have here that I drink now. It's a little bitty guy. And it was the coldest, most satisfying thing in my life. And ever since then, I've always drank. If I'm going to do work, I'm going to drink a Stag beer. And I have a garage fridge with Stag beer. It's not as old as his, but it's just.
So this wasn't just done for tonight. You drink this stuff. You believe in this stuff. And Stag actually has a new logo and a new kind of they've got, I think there's a new session beer out. Stag has come out with some different products, but
Stag is becoming very relevant lately. I mean, they're just everywhere, it seems like. And I don't know if it's just they're speaking directly to me or what, but it feels like I was a part of that marketing thing because it just like nailed it. They hit it right on the head. You know?
Well, and I should say, when we first talked about this, you said that you were going to pair this board with a martini. And I said, what are you going to do that for? And you said, because I like martinis. And I thought, well, that's great because I did too. So I couldn't get any Stag beer, but I do have a martini. So if you don't mind, it's 5 o'clock somewhere and it's 6:10 here. So I'm going to go for a martini.
I'm going to pop this Stag open. And I'll probably drink this whole thing easily.
And I need to mention to the viewers that the Q&A function is open. We're going to be taking questions at the end as soon as we're done with this. So if you have a question for Alex, let her rip on the Q&A. And there's a chat function on too, and that's mainly for just to kind of bounce us along and say, attaboy, Alex, you're a cool dude, Alex. We love you, Alex. All that kind of stuff can come in on the chat function.
Or if you're a troll, I'm just going to ignore you. But yeah.
So what's on board number 2?
Okay, so this is the board I take to people I don't know as well. This is the show off board, okay? I call this the perfect bite board, okay? The reason it's called the perfect bite is because I went to Rome when I was in college. I just backpacked Europe. I didn't have any money. I just backpacked Europe. And I went and ate prosciutto with fig and a little bit of Parmigiano Reggiano right outside the city. And I was like, this, and I took a bite and it changed my life. I was like, this is the greatest thing ever. Okay. So what's amazing about the prosciutto in St. Louis is that Volpe, who's the local company who's nationwide, they're international now, they make probably the best prosciutto in the United States. And this is actually their heritage prosciutto, which is which just won the Sophie Award this year, which is
right. So that's from a heritage hog, and a Sophie Award's a big deal. That's the Independent Foods Association, and you win a Sophie Award, it's like winning an Oscar, right?
Absolutely, it's as big of a deal as you can get in Volpe's industry. And this is, so I always get this, and you can go into Volpe right now, or when they're open, and walk, and they'll slice it to order for you. And that's made on the hill. 2 blocks, it's in its own facility, but it's just amazing that you can get this good of a prosciutto in St. Louis, Missouri. And then of course I always do the king of cheeses, Parmigiano Reggiano. You have to do Parmigiano Reggiano when you're doing prosciutto. And then
hey, Alex, hold that board up. People want to see what's on there.
Oh,
so if you can hold that up while you're, and see if it doesn't roll off the side.
Oh, you're good. Okay. What's nice about it too is I always put a crunch on my boards. I always do because people want it. It fills the board nicely. Because even though these are small boards, you still got to fill it. I mean, this stuff's like $25 a pound. So, or no, it's probably more than that. But like, so you can't fill the whole board with it, obviously. So, and this is just a fig. And what I do here is with this is I open up the prosciutto when I'm eating it, and I put a fig in there and a little bit of Parmigiano, and I roll it up. And you could roll it up for your guests, but I like to let them do it because it's. I always feel like my whole industry, my whole business is eating with your hands. I think people need to eat with their hands. They need to do things with their hands. So you eat like this, and then it's just like it's the best flavor in the world. And then I just added a little bit of almonds, which were fried in olive oil, which is just a nice crunch, and it just balances everything out. Unless if you don't want to, if you don't want the crackers, you just throw those on there too. But
and I noticed, I mean, when you're doing these individual boards, you don't need the little toothpicks and little items and baby forks. It's like everybody's got their own. Like you said, this is designed to be finger food, and you're rolling and making tacos and going crazy, and would encourage, I guess, everybody to do the same.
That's the cool thing about individual boards. You always go to a party with somebody else. So it's your board with them, and you're already in quarantine with them. So just enjoy your board with them, and you can do all kinds of weird stuff. So yeah. I absolutely love this board. I love how delicate the prosciutto is, and then the fig brings out like the sweetness of the prosciutto, but then the Parmigiano Reggiano brings up like the nuttiness of it. It all just like, it's like these two, the fig and the Parmigiano represent two different sides of the prosciutto. So this is the perfect bite in my opinion. And then of course you got to wash it down with Prosecco because you have to.
There you go.
Everything's good with Prosecco.
Yeah, you gotta catch up with me here. So Prosecco because it's Italian, or because it's because the bubbles kind of cleanse the palate? I guess both those things.
I like an extra dry Prosecco, nice and dry, not too sweet, not sweet at all if it's up to me, but it cleanses your palate. Because you got to remember, this is the first of many meals that you're probably going to have that night, and so you want to cleanse your palate, and you want to also enhance I don't know. I feel like prosciutto is such a fun meat because it's almost delicate. Like it's not a heavy meat at all. Like it's light, it's airy. It tastes like I always think like it tastes like the countryside. It's like breezy and nutty and earthy. And then Prosecco is just the perfect accompaniment.
And let's face it, you said, I mean, that particular prosciutto beat out, I don't know, a lot of prosciuttos. So you might as well get the best. Go to Volpe. It's a gold medal award-winning prosciutto. And the other thing I just learned is most people think of Prosecco as a sweeter set of bubbles. And there are dry Proseccos out there if that's.
This one's extra dry, this one. And just a shout out to the ladies at DiGregorio's who helped me with my wine. I'm not the best with wines or anything, so they educated me on this event. And that's the thing I wanted to touch on too with Volpe and DiGregorio's. These people that work there, it's their passion to help you host a good party. So come, if you don't know or understand something in our industry, ask. They want to tell you. They want to educate you. I have been in this industry forever, and I didn't know what a lot of stuff is. Like you just don't, you know. And
well, I'll ask you a question that came from one of the viewers. Do you recommend serving your meat and cheese at room temperature, or should it be ice cold? Should it be slightly chilled? What's your take on that?
It's the best at room temperature. It might not. Okay. It might not be the safest thing in the world. We at the Deli keep everything.
Well, that's.
But man, a beautiful piece of cured meat at room temperature is the best thing in the world. It melts in your mouth. Like this prosciutto, I left it out because it just melts in your mouth. It's beautiful.
Well, you bring it to the party chilled and then let it sit out. I think that's a good way. Hey, there's another question, and this is a good one too. How much do you prepare per person so there aren't a ton of leftovers? Do you say, X amount of ounces per person, or do you just kind of fill the board to make it look pretty? How do you do that?
So what we do is, this is my recommendation as well as Volpe's. I asked that question to them, and it's the same. It's 1/8 of a pound, 1/8 of a per person per meat on a board. So for this, for the prosciutto, since it's a 2-person board, I did 1/4 of a pound. Does that make sense?
Yep. Oh, absolutely.
It is, I mean, and that's plenty. That might be too much because, you know, you're going to be eating a lot more. But like for this board we're going to do later, I did 1/8 of a pound of each meat since I did so many. So, but
hey, let's get into the third board. You got your prosecco going, and let's just see what else you got, and then we can open up the phone lines, as it were.
I call this the classic board. So this board right here, I'm going to move over the prosciutto. This board, this is probably what.
Yeah, try to hold these up without letting everything go to the floor.
Oh, I got it. So we got classic Genoa, which is Volpe. There's some cool stuff that Volpe does if you go into Volpe to order it that I'll tell you about. This is Mortadella. Mortadella is probably my second favorite cured meat besides hot salami. Oh, hot salami is not cured, but this isn't cured either. But my favorite Volpe meat because it's so versatile.
If anybody's playing a drinking game with the word Volpe, everybody's drunk by now, Alex.
Oh, yeah. I'm in love with Volpe. I love them. So there's some story about Volpe. So Armando, who was the second owner, okay, this business is older than us, and he's the second owner. He took over in the 50s. He's the nephew of John Volpe. When I started at the deli, I went up there to pick up my meat, and he's back there. And he's probably at the time, he was probably like 80, 85 years old. I think he's 95 now. And he's back there, and he goes, "Come and sit down and talk to me. And you're the hot salami guy." And he just gave me all this advice and taught me so much. And so I fell in love with the guy. And the guy's making lunch for his crew because that's the Italian culture. He went and he was making lunch for the people that were working the counter. And it was just like a really light, easy pasta with some crispy bread. And he put a bowl in front of me of pasta, and I ate with him. So I am a diehard loyal Volpe guy because of it. So, but
all right, I'll drink to that. So keep going on the board. What you got? You've got that board full of stuff, and we haven't gotten through it all yet.
Okay, cool. Real quick, this is Genoa. This is Volpe's flagship product, and that's everybody calls it hard salami, but it's actually Genoa because that's where the region it's from. I did a fancy fold on that, which my wife did for me, but you know, it's just you fold it a little bit, and then you just flour it. So you just roll it, and it turns it into a little rose, and that just makes it so much more appetizing, in my opinion. And then this right here, this is the stuff that is just blowing me away. It's called brisola. Brisola. It's a Spanish meat. It's the only meat. It's the only beef that Volpe does, and that's the eye of the round. And that 40% of all the water's been taken out of that. So it's a really intense, it almost has like a blood sausage thing going on. Okay, yeah. So it's really, really meaty. But what's cool,
if it's what I'm thinking of, that's an air dried beef. And like you said, all the moisture's pretty much taken out of it. So the flavor's intense.
So intense. And it's a very simple flavor. Like there's very few spices in there, but what I do is I zest it up with a little bit of arugula, and you just put a little bit of olive oil, some lemon, and parm on the arugula, and I just took my Parmigiano Reggiano and just grated a little bit on top, and that way when you bite into it, it's like when summer met winter. It's just like.
Are you gonna make another roll up there? You're gonna do another?
Can you do another one?
No.
What did you say, George?
Did we cover everything on that board? I can't see the board from where I am. I just don't want to miss it.
I'm way over here. We got the nuts, and then this is really interesting. This might be in my thing, but that's white cheddar, and I love white cheddar with Genoa. And I don't know if it's just the Midwestern boy in me or what it is, but cheddar cheese from America is the best stuff in the world. And then when you add it with like a really, really great Genoa, it just tastes like childhood. You know what I mean? It's just fantastic. So I always put those next to each other because I want them.
Have you noticed when you take these boards to different people's houses, is there an item that always gets consumed first?
Well, the hot salami, of course.
Okay.
No, but normally it's the Genoa. It's always the Genoa or the prosciutto. The prosciutto everybody goes nuts for, but Genoa is a very approachable. It looks pretty. And that gets gobbled up right away. And then the mortadella, which is amazing, gets left. So that's just how. So I mix the mortadella with Provel cheese. This is Provel.
And mortadella is just Italian bologna, to put it in simple terms. That's maybe not doing it justice, but man, it's good stuff.
It's fantastic. And what's good about it is you want to slice that thin, because it just tastes so good thin, and you can work with it a lot better when it's not too thin, but just thin enough where you can work with it on the board.
And apparently that board goes with stag beer as well, I'm noticing.
Yeah, everything goes good with stag beer. I gotta stay hydrated, George. I got a lot of talking to do.
You don't want that to happen. So talk a little bit. I mean, part of the cool thing about these individual boards, we can hold one up just to show exactly what's going on there. It's called a live edge board, and it's made by David Stein, who makes restaurant tables everywhere in town and bar tops. And it's a distinguishing characteristic. He's got those live edges. So that is just a piece of walnut.
That's just a piece of walnut. It's just a young walnut tree, because it's only maybe 12 inches wide. That you just cut down. You obviously can't make a table out of that, but you can. It's a great serving board. So and I cut on them because I feel like they need to be cut on. But if you buy some of these are just the perfect serving board. Even if they have cut marks on them, it still looks really good. And I just really love these little boards. I use these for I have dinner parties with these. These are my plates.
So since it's like a cutting board, you could put a steak on it and just cut away, right?
Yeah. I just love cutting. I love cutting into wood. I love when you're cutting something and then you cut and there's a little bit of give and that's wood. I just think that I don't know. That's just something that I love to do. I guess just because when I was a kid, the Deli had this huge butcher block table, and that's what we used. It's now been retired, and we can't use it anymore because of the health codes and all that. But this thing, I just love that. It was so gratifying to debone a pork shoulder and then cut through and hit the wood. I don't know. I just feel like it's just very natural. So.
Well, and again, this is from David Stein. I think it's davidstein.com. And these are available. You can buy these boards. And, again, I thought, well, we're going into the holidays. This is just a perfect thing to either get for yourself or to get for somebody else. When you see these things, I mean, you've got them all covered up with goodies, but it's a spectacular board, and it's just simple walnut, but that's all. What else do you need?
Classic and beautiful. It's just like it harkens to these. It's like curing meats. It's been around forever, and it's just like it's how this should look. It's just perfect. And he actually follow him on Instagram because he does a special on cutting boards at Parker's Table, and he does it around October or November. So if you guys are listening, follow Dave Stein on Instagram, and he'll promote that. So, but yeah, he gave me. Well, he didn't give me. I bought 12 of these, so I have a bunch of these. So you're so busy drinking that stag beer that you forgot that I think there was a wine that was supposed to go with that third. Oh
beer.
yeah.
Oh yeah, about the wine.
This wine is fantastic. Like I said, I'm not a wine person, but there's a story behind this wine. So, okay, here we go. Le Pietre, I'm gonna say that, and that's basically St. Ambrose. But what's cool about this wine is that means the rocks. Is this vineyard is basically in very rocky soil, and when a vine has to fight to find water, it just makes a great grape. So that the rock is the name. The rocks basically is the name of this wine, the name of the wine company, and it just represents just a really great, clean. I just love this wine. I don't know enough about wines to talk about them, but I do know that the Di Gregorios, who I bought this from, this is the wine they drank at their first son's wedding. So that's got to be good, right?
No, that's a good enough endorsement for me. So there's a couple interesting questions. Did you have a specific kind of fig that went on that one board? You can buy figs of all shapes, sizes, and
these are from
dryness.
These are from Volpe. That's a great question. I'm pretty sure they're a roasted fig, but I'd have to talk to them about it. They sell these at Volpe, and these are the ones that I always buy, just because these were meant for that board. You know, that's why they're selling them. So I just buy it straight. So if you're going to go to Volpe, they'll have them there, or just ask them, and they'll be able to help you.
And do you, as far as nuts, are those like Marcona almonds, or what do you?
Yeah.
What do you? Did I guess right?
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, Marcona almonds. Yeah, I just get you can get these everywhere. You can get these everywhere on the hill at least.
And you can get them, and you can also get them in oil, and you can get them not in oil. So again, if you're going to this cocktail party, you might want to get the oil-free ones, right?
Make them dry and not so messy. But yeah, I love those. These just remind me of Christmas. I don't know. It's just like almonds. Like everybody puts almonds out in the Italian culture when you go to these parties. Everybody always says these almonds out, and they just remind me of like a Christmas party.
So, is there any Provel cheese on any of these boards?
Yeah, man, of course. Right there. I put it next to the Mortadella.
Okay. Yeah, because it's like, you know, your trip down Daggett Avenue wouldn't be complete without a little Provel cheese on there somewhere.
Exactly.
I'm glad you did that. Don't save it for the pizzas. It's good on other stuff too, and I'm a firm believer in that.
Wrapped in Mortadella, everything's good, man. Yeah, of course I got to put Provel on it. I got pepper jack over here, which is great. Our pepper jack's amazing, so you can't go wrong.
So you've got 3 stores now. You've got the flagship store on the hill. You've got a store in Creve Coeur, which is going gangbusters. And I mean, you've got a 3rd store downtown, right? And you've got, you know, it's the pandemic time, and it's like, are you going to do more, or are you going to do less?
So we've been thinking a lot about this, and like what we've realized with this pandemic is we're very fortunate. We're paying our bills, we're staying open, we're staying alive, and we're getting busier because we're figuring out how to do things. We were the first people we were one of the first people to do curbside, and that made us survive. And then we did frozen pizzas and all that. But what it made us realize is it's about the people, and the people that work for me and the people that buy the sandwiches for me. And we were growing. We grew 300% since 2016. And it's time to slow down. It's time to slow down, refocus ourselves, focus on quality, focus on the customers that are still supporting us, even though they're all supporting us, but focus on their experience and make sure it's as safe as possible. And then we're going to get through this without a problem. And then the opportunities will come later. But right now, it's all about just simplifying everything. We've always made everything in-house, so our supply chain has always been really pure. But that was a big thing with a lot of people was you're wanting to get your pork, Smithfield or whatever, the plant closed down, you can't get your pork. So like, and that was in March. Like the things we had to go through to get to this point was amazing. And the one thing it made me realize is I need to make sure that I enjoy this. Like I enjoy this experience this ride I'm on, because it's crazy. I mean, one day you go to bed and you're like, oh, we got a pandemic coming or whatever. The next day I wake up and the whole world is shut down. And it's like, okay, we need to enjoy what we have. We need to make a great product and make sure we focus on customer loyalty. Because that's really the only thing that's getting us through this is the fact that our customers trust me enough to serve them food safely.
And you know, you guys. Well, let me just ask you this: how many? I mean, that hot salami is so good, and people that have never had it that finally have it, it's like this aha moment. How many sandwiches, or what's the percentage of the hot salami to the other sandwiches, which I want to talk about because they're also being good.
It used to be about 90%. When I was a kid, it was just like, it was not, you didn't ask for a hot salami. You only asked if you didn't want a hot salami. You know, I'll take 2. Well, that meant 2 hot salamis.
It's
You know what I
great.
mean? So now it's diversified a little bit, but we're still at like 50%. 50% of our customers are getting a hot salami.
But there is a bunch of really good sandwiches there, and I think part of the secret, to me anyway, is that you put them on garlic cheese bread.
Oh, of course, you have to.
And you know, it's good without it, but man, if you get it with it, you'll never get it any other way.
So there's a cool story about the garlic cheese bread if we have time. My mom, when we were kids, like I said, my dad passed away or whatever. My mom raised 3 boys on her own, okay? And when we were kids, she'd bring home sandwiches because she's like, you know, you're running a business and you got 3 boys. Like, she'd bring home sandwiches, and she'd bring home like a poor boy or a hot salami, and it would be just dry. And we didn't want to eat it because we're kids. And so what she did was she dipped it in garlic butter, opened the face, and put it in the oven. And she do it for, 5 minutes in the oven. That is how garlic cheese bread happened. My mom was making sandwiches for us as kids, and to liven it up, she put it in the oven with a little garlic butter. And that's how it happened. And now I'd say, easily 70% of all of our sandwiches are on garlic cheese bread. Easily. We go through 90 pounds of butter blocks every week just at the original.
So it's yeah, and there's it's garlic cheese bread, and let me guess the name of the cheese that's on there.
It's Provel.
Okay, I figured as
More
well.
pepper. We got pepper. We also got mott's, but
so there was some questions about the general composition. Let me just tell the viewers that everything that's on Alex's board, including the paired beverages, will be available on this video after it ends. So if you're wondering what goes with what and exactly what was where, it's all there. One question was, which cheese did you pair with it's called braciola, that air-dried beef. You had a particular cheese that you paired with that.
Actually, I didn't pair it with cheese. I just did a arugula zest with it, but the cheese in there is the Parmigiano Reggiano grated. You can do, it would be great with the cheddar. This is going to, like I said, it's meat forward. It's like irony and everything. So you can do a light cheese with it. I mean, it would be great with a cheddar even, But I don't do cheese with that because I think that the arugula just zest it up and it's another great bite, So I actually don't do.
I am so glad that a reader asked this. So, otherwise you'd blame me for it. Does Gioia still have the secret menu? I remember we talked about this before, and you said, yeah, it was secret. It was secret until you started writing about it. But anyway, that's where a lot of the sandwiches that are on the menu now came from.
Yeah, I mean, that's what we do. We do a tester menu. We do a special of the week. If it works, we put it on the secret menu. If it doesn't work, we forget about it. It is, if you walked into Gioia today, and you can order it from the secret menu, you cannot get it online. And 50% of our business is now online ordering. So that's where the thing is. I have taken it off the website. No, I didn't. Is it hidden still? It was hidden on the website. You had to find it.
I couldn't find it, and it used to be, and now it's actually secret again, which is
we're trying to do it secret again, George. You told everybody about it. But yeah,
I had to bring this up, and I knew you'd blame me for it, but it was an anonymous question, which I swear didn't come from me, about the secret menu.
Tell Anonymous that I will bring it back as soon as we get this dang vaccine, so we can start having fun again. Because right now it's just like all hands on deck. Online ordering, and it's just completely changed our business. The fact that we're not customer facing anymore, it's just like boom, 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 boom. It's a totally different world we're in. So. Well,
and I think it's really interesting that didn't Gioia's have its kind of roots during the Spanish flu? Wasn't that kind of
right after World War I, during the Spanish flu? I always I tweeted this and I took it down because I didn't want to make light of this serious situation. But we opened during the Spanish flu. We survived the Great Depression, World War II. We've done it all. I mean, that's what's cool about the Hill. That's like half the businesses on the Hill are like that. So
it's such an incredible business, and everybody that goes in that door, you just feel the energy how many times a week do you get asked if somebody can do a franchise?
I call that the F word, George. The F word. I'm not ready.
It's the other F word.
Stadium thing, and my head almost exploded. All my ancestors were yelling at me for doing that. So we got a little bit before we're ready to do the F word. I would like to have, my family needs to have complete control for a while until maybe, I don't know, maybe when my kids are in college, we'll start working about that. So. But
well, you know, it's an incredible business with an incredible product, and you've just piggybacked on it. And like I said, I've had a bunch of those sandwiches, and none of them are bad. It's just amazing, and it's quick, and it's not expensive, and you know, you see the line out the door, but don't be dismayed because you guys slam those sandwiches out. But they're all made to order. You don't do that ahead of time.
Well, I always tell, real quick, George. I always tell this. My mom in the Gioia family made Gioia's great. I just told everybody about it. That's my thing. I'm just a blabbermouth, and that's what it. And then we won that big award that really helped too. What's it called? James Beard, the Jimmy Beard Award.
Yeah, I've heard of that guy.
That was a game changer.
So James, you can talk about that. That was in 2017, and you guys got the classic. It was a James Beard Classic Award, which isn't awarded to. I mean, it's like one or two a year, right? And it came to you guys, and I was, couldn't have been happier. But I was surprised. That's a really hard one to get.
Yeah, and I didn't even know what James Beard was until I got the phone call. And I was home. My daughter was sick that day. They gave me and so I was home with her, and Amanda, my wife, was working at the Deli. And they called me and go, "Hey, this is Susan from the James Beard Foundation. Congratulations, you guys won a James Beard Award." And I said, "You realize we're a sandwich shop, right?" Not like, you think of Gerard Kraft when you think of James Beard.
Right. This ain't tweezer food here, folks.
You don't think of the guy wearing a plastic apron grinding up meat, But it makes me proud. It makes me proud of St. Louis because we sell head cheese, and we sell 2,000 pounds of it because St. Louisans love it. I just love St. Louis. I love St. Louis palates. They know good food. They like different food. But then we got, it's just great.
I wanted to talk about different things, the kind of the operative word right now is pivots. And you guys, naturally, I would have expected nothing less. You're doing some things now that are different. You're doing, you can do drop shipping, which I didn't know. That's fairly new, right?
That is, we are starting. We've been drop shipping the pizzas and the logs, but for about a month now. But starting October 1st, we're drop shipping hot salami sandwich kits. So George, if you lived in like Milwaukee, I could drop ship you bread, hot salami, cheese. You bake the bread, you microwave the hot salami, boom, you got a hot salami sandwich.
It's unbelievable. A mutual friend of ours who lives in Hawaii was serving that to his new neighbors, and they didn't know what the heck was going on, and they all went crazy. You know who I'm talking about.
He put it in a smoker.
Yeah.
He put it in a smoker. He did a good job with that one.
Of course, we're talking about Mike Emerson, and of course he did. So you've got sandwich kits, and you're going to continue, I guess, to do the collaborations and, work with different chefs in St. Louis.
And so I feel, I hope this doesn't sound braggadocious, but I feel like I am in a position now where I get to start having fun and discovering talent instead of worrying about getting people in the door. And so, like, we got a guy we're working with to do a breakfast collab on Sunday. It's a breakfast sandwich collab. His name's John Todd, and he just makes a great everything bagel. And I was like, I want to do a hot salami egg sandwich with this bagel. So
I'm in. Stop right there. I'm in. Where? Yeah. What?
Right? There's a hot salami egg and cream cheese aioli breakfast on everything bagel. Who wouldn't want that? So, and then you can take a nap after and watch football.
So where is this? How do we find out about this? This is John Todd of Dead Fox.
Yeah, Dead Fox. Yeah, you can just go to either my Instagram or it's this Sunday from 8 to noon at the original location. Just go to, I have the flyer up on all my social media pages, so just go to one of those. Just Google hot salami And don't click on any of the bad stuff. Just find Gioia's Deli and go there. That's how you do it.
You know, this came in, and I love the updates Gioia's has made through the pandemic. You make your adaptations so quick and so professional. I couldn't end this any better than that.
That's fantastic. Thank you. Salute.
Cheers, and long live hot salami.
Long live hot salami.
Folks, thank you.
Gave me the single.
Thanks for joining us on Perfect Pairings. Like I said, all of Alex's boards and the pairings are available on the, you know, you'll find this if you find this video again. And again, please share it with all your friends. Cheers, brother. Happy holidays.
I appreciate this, George. Thank you guys for watching. This has been fantastic.
My pleasure.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Count that stag.
Yeah, there you go. I got to finish it. Took me long enough. Bye-bye, guys.